Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to another episode of Fiqhfacts. Today we are going to be speaking about how a person should perform his or her salah whilst traveling. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being so merciful and kind, He mentions in Surah An-Nisa, and this came down in the 4th year after Hijri, He says, وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when you're traveling, then فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ, there is no issue, there is no problem, أَن تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ, if you shorten from your salah. Before going into how to perform it and who is considered a Musaafir, there are three things that we have to understand. First thing is watan asli, watan iqamah, and watan sukna. So the three things that we have to understand are the different types of homes or residences that we will be categorizing while speaking about the salah of a traveler. First one is watan asli. That is a person's real home, meaning his permanent residence. So initially, the place where a person is born will be considered his or her permanent residence. But when they grow up and they move away with the intention of residing somewhere else permanently, either for work, either due to marriage, for whatever reason, but the intention is to reside there permanently, then that will be considered their watan asli, and the previous one, where the person was born, where the person's mother's home was, that will be cancelled out as a watan asli. Second is watan iqamah, the temporary home. So this is when a person intends to stay in a certain place for 15 days or more, but not permanently. 15 days or more, and then they intend on coming back to their permanent residence. So watan iqamah is a temporary home, 15 days or more, and then returning back to watan asli, the real home. And then finally, watan sukna is the temporary transit residence. So this is when a person intends to stay at a certain place for 14 days or less, so less than 15 days. The other one we said was temporary residence, but 15 days or more. And over here, the transit residence is 14 days or less. This is going to be called watan sukna, the transit residence. And as we said, that watan asli will only change when a person decides to move to a different home, to a different area, with the intention of permanent residence. Now, going into who is considered a Musaafir. When will a person be called a traveler? When will the laws and the ahkam and the rules of traveling apply to a person? When a person leaves the buildings of his town, right? Leaves the buildings of his town. Throughout the books of fiqh, you will see that they speak about the outskirts of the town, where the farmlands begin. So, basically where the city, the buildings of the town end, and the farmlands begin. So for example, I stay in the city of Webster. So as soon as I leave the buildings of Webster, that's when I will become a Musaafir. That's when the ahkam, the laws of a traveler will apply to me. With, of course, the intention of traveling the distance that has been deemed as the Shari'ah traveling distance by the fuqaha and the ulama, which we will be going into right now. So through a hadith, the fuqaha and the ulama, they have deduced that traveling is, back in the day they didn't have, something to measure the distance exactly. So the way they would measure the distance was the amount of time it would take to travel from one place to another. So 3 days traveling at a moderate pace, this was considered the traveling distance according to Shari'ah. The ulama and the fuqaha, they studied and they came to a conclusion that this amounts to about 78 kilometers or 48 miles. Now, my teacher of Bukhari, my ustad that taught me Bukhari in South Africa, Shaykh Fadl Rahman, he did his own tahqiq, he did his own research, and he said that the Shari'i mile, the mile that's considered in Shari'ah, and the normal mile that we use nowadays are different. The Shari'i mile is actually a bit longer compared to the normal mile that we use nowadays. So according to his tahqiq, instead of 48 miles, the traveling distance is 52 miles. So the traveling distance according to him is 52 miles. Keeping in mind, of course, that three things: intention of traveling, the traveling distance, which is 48 miles or 52 miles, and you have to leave the buildings of your town. So, and also your intention that when you reach that destination, wherever you're traveling to, you're planning on staying there for less than 15 days. So 14 days or less, then you'll be considered a Musaafir. So those are the three things that apply, that will be considered when trying to find out whether a person is considered a Musaafir, a traveler, or not. Now, how to perform Qasr? How to perform Salah whilst a Musaafir? Qasr means to cut down, right? So Qasr will only take place in Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha. So the 4 rak'at prayers. Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha. Instead of 4, you're going to pray 2. And this will only take place in the compulsory parts of the Salah, meaning the 4 rak'at of Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha that are mandatory to pray. So not the Sunnah and the Nawafil. You cannot cut down the Sunnah from 4 to 2. You cannot cut down your Nawafil from 4 to 2. Also, Sunnah and Nawafil, although they're during travel, it's okay to leave them out, but if a person is able to, and there's no difficulty in performing them, then it would be way better to perform the Sunnah and the Nawafil. It's better not to leave them out on purpose. If a muqim is someone that does that is not traveling, right? So the opposite of a Musaafir is a muqim. Musaafir is a person that travels. Muqim is a person that is residing at a certain place, that is not traveling. So if a muqim prays behind a traveler, say the traveler is the imam whilst praying Salah, I am praying behind Muhammad. Muhammad is Musaafir, he is the imam. I am not a traveler and I am praying behind Muhammad. So when he completes his 2 rak'at, he finishes the Salah, I'm going to stand back up and complete the remainder of the Salah. Similar to a masbuq, a person who was a latecomer during Salah. So just like they complete the rest of the Salah that they missed, a muqim that is praying behind a Musaafir, a non-traveler praying behind a traveler, will stand up and complete the rest of the Salah. It is necessary for the imam, which is a Musaafir, which is a traveler, to remind the muqtadi, the people praying behind him, that we are going to be performing Qasr Salah. I'm the imam, but I'm a traveler. So reminding everyone that they're going to be praying Qasr before the Salah and after the Salah as well, in case someone did come late or someone may have forgotten. So after Salah, once the imam says salam, he should remind the Jama'ah one more time that I am a Musaafir. So anyone that still has to stand up and complete, which are non-travelers, they will stand up and complete their Salah. According to Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, Qasr Salah is wajib. Shortening of the Salah is wajib. So praying 2 instead of 4 is mandatory. If a person happens to pray 4 instead of 2, then he will have to repeat his Salah, according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. And according to Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, he says that a person is free to shorten the Salah whether he wants or not. Whether he or she wants to read the full Salah or whether they want to do Qasr and shorten it and pray 2, that is up to them. It is their choice. That is all for Salat-Ulmusaafir. Just a few things that we should keep in mind whilst traveling in regards to Salah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to make our Salah just like the Salah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And inshallah, see you guys on the next episode of Fiqhfacts.